It's the season finale. Sooners and LSU Tigers in Norman. Got to do our crossover and talk some ball.
You are Locked On College Crossover, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Thank you all for joining us today here on Locked On Crossover Edition. Locked On LSU, Locked On Sooners, and thank you for making Locked On Podcast Network your first listen every single day. Shout out to all our everydayers out there for tuning in, subscribing to the show, and thank you all for making the Locked On Podcast Network the #1 sports podcast network in the world. We have Matt Moscona over there at Locked On LSU, Jay Smith here with Locked On Sooners, and today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Right now, new customers can bet just $5 and get your first bet wins. You'll get $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. So download the app today. Matt, thank you so much for pulling up with us today. We're going to talk
to cover the 10.5. Bet the Sooners to cover the. I don't know, Jay. I don't know. I ain't trying to jump the shark here, but I don't know if LSU's going to get a first down in this game, man.
And that is exactly where we're going to start at here on the offensive side of the ball. And I just saw the announcement that had come out from Matt Zenith over there. Was that on 3 or CBS Sports that Nussmeier's not playing? So this will be the third game that Michael Van Buren will start. I kind of want to start there. How are you feeling about him? This is his third game. We're starting to see some stuff, but that Western Kentucky game was a little bit of a struggle.
So the interesting thing about Brian Kelly, Jay, is he gave us a ton of access in fall camp. I mean, we got to watch full practices, 11 on 11, scrimmages. So it's, in the NFL, there's mandated media availability. In college, this, coaches don't have to let us see anything.
Nope.
So I probably watched 20 hours of this team in camp. And man, Michael Van Buren struggled to complete passes against air. He is just an inaccurate thrower. Here's the thing about Van Buren. He's got ability. You can see it, right? Mm-hmm. There's times where you'll see him dart and make a run, or he'll zip a ball between two defenders. You're like, oh, okay. Yeah. So it's in there. He's just unrefined as a quarterback. And Jay, they said the same knock about Jaden Daniels when he showed up at LSU. Mm-hmm. I mean, his last year at Arizona State, 10 touchdowns, 10 picks, and then he became one of the most accurate passers we've literally ever seen. Van Buren's just not that guy yet. And this whole offense is dysfunctional. They're better with Garrett Nussmeier, with tons of experience, a veteran player. But Garrett, there's been varying degrees and conversations about how injured he's really been throughout the year, whatever the case may be. But the bottom line is, man, the offensive line is bad. The scheme is bad. The quarterbacks are bad. It's just bad. It's bad. It's just bad, man.
And that's a fair point, because it leads right into that offensive line. For me, I thought this line was going to be an improvement from last year. You lost a lot of players on the line. So we kind of talked about this at the beginning of the season on the squad show. You bring in a lot of transfers. You get a little bit of you think there's going to be a step back, but you didn't expect it to be this far back. But now everybody's hurt. It's just injury after injury after injury.
So here's the thing. They brought in two. So they lost four. They lost 4 starters to the NFL. 4 guys were drafted. Yes. Their 5th was DJ Chester, who played center last year. Not a true center. He's still on the team, but he's not playing center. So you lost your entire starting offensive line, including Will Campbell, who is the 4th overall pick, right? Mm-hmm. Your audience would appreciate this, Jay. Very similar would happen at Texas. Lost the whole offensive line. And honestly, man, they went in the portal and signed 2 guys. Braylon Moore from Virginia Tech, who's their center, and Josh Thompson from Northwestern, who's their right guard. And those have been their 2 best guys all year. Braylon Moore has been their best offensive lineman. But he sprained his foot in the game this last weekend against Western Kentucky. He's not going to play. So you're down Braylon Moore, your best offensive lineman, on a unit that's already not any good. Against that defensive front from Oklahoma, maybe for my audience, you can speak a little bit to the defensive front there at OU, but bro, I've seen him play enough. Frank Wilson said earlier this week, you're going to face R. Mason Thomas, and you're going to face a great defensive front that might be the best defensive front you're going to face all year against a struggling offensive line. That's just That is a mismatch, man, especially if the weather's bad. I mean, maybe, I mean, if you wouldn't mind for my audience, share a little bit about the OU defensive front.
Oh, yeah. So when you're talking about injured fronts, they see food. So the good thing, I guess you could say this is a good thing, our Mason Thomas is most likely not going to play. He injured his quad against Tennessee on that return for the touchdown. And he's been out since. And I don't expect them to try to push him in this game because, truth be told, you guys got an injured line, so it kind of doesn't make any sense. Then the Bama game happened where you had Taylor Wein show up on the edge, causing problems. He's been SEC Player of the Week like 2 weeks in a row. You're adding Dominic Williams and David Stone in the interior. Grayson Halton, who's now listed, he's probably about a top 100 player going into the draft this year. He's actually accelerated himself. And then Marvin Jones Jr., the former 5, started playing at Georgia as well as Florida State. He's starting to emerge. He's starting to look like a guy that is supposed to look like. And then the young players that's right behind them, the defensive front is ridiculously good. I'm very much even more impressed than I thought I was going to be at how well they've turned out. Brent Venables told us he wanted a physical front. He wanted a trenches-focused defense. And he actually delivered, Matt. Like, that's the thing that shocks me the most about this. Every time I look at them, they're ridiculous. And the one thing I've seen in some of the metrics that jumped out, they get in the backfield within like a half a second to a second. Like sometimes they're already, as soon as the ball's hiked, they're grabbing the quarterback's back. And that can be terrifying for a young quarterback. And Michael Van Buren, Sooner fans know about him, especially if they followed us here, because he was one of our targets. We had recruited him heavily before Levy took the job at Mississippi State.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
He ended up taking the job. When he took the job, Van Buren followed him instead of coming to Oklahoma. He was part of the 2 quarterbacks we wanted to take in that class. So I've watched him. And I saw the talent. I saw that it's there, but I knew there was a lot of refinement. He was very raw, and he looks like it right now. And so for us, Oklahoma's going to want to make him feel the squeeze of pressure on the defensive line, in which that usually leads to erratic passes. So the things you saw from Ty Simpson. I know a lot of Alabama fans hate when I talk about it or even mention it, but that's how we beat him. We made Ty Simpson see things he did not.
You can talk about that all you want, man. Yeah, I was out there drinking a whiskey, smoking a cigar, celebrating every stinking minute. I thought y'all were going to choke that game away, too, at the end. I'm like, I've seen this movie before. Y'all can't close this game when you got to get points, but I'll be darned. They got the stop against Ty Simpson. So, hey, man, any opportunity you give me to tap dance on Alabama fans' grave, I'm taking it to celebrate it. Boomer! I was yelling boomer that night. My neighbors were mad at me.
And exactly, and that's what we want. So in this one, we're going to probably get a similar strategy. I've watched a lot of LSU ball. Like I mentioned you in the green room. My daughter is a senior there.
Sorry, dude.
I sent her gifts nonstop just to remind her about how the season's going because she terrorizes me all year long. But no, there's a lot of movement that has to be done, especially because the scheme is kind of a struggle. So they've got to find ways to give Van Buren time. Now, granted, the dude is athletic, so he can get away. He's very squirmy. And if the weather is, as expected, being a little gross, the smart route would be go the Lane Kiffin type of play of staying in the huddle, moving slow, take everything short, take your time, make this aggressive defense over pursue you, slide around. I don't know if the line's ready to handle that, but I guess you could say we'll see.
Yeah, and we can flip the field here when we come back. But the big misconception about Michael Van Buren is people, because he's athletic, they think he's a runner. He's not. I mean, I'm looking, Van Buren on the season has 32 attempts for 72 yards. Now, obviously, that's not sack adjusted. He does have a 35-yarder that he had against Arkansas, which is the lion's share of that. Even against Mississippi State, or at Mississippi State a year ago, he wasn't a guy that was a really good. I'm looking at his rushing stats from State a year ago: 69 rushes for -12. So this isn't a guy that's going to beat you with his feet.
No, he's a scrambler, not a runner. I think that's the biggest difference, the biggest delineation you can say. He'll move around in the pocket. He'll move around and he'll throw it on the run. I don't know if he's better at throwing on the run yet. I just haven't paid attention to that capacity of his game, but like you said, he's pretty raw. He's got a lot of work to do.
He threw 42 passes for 202 yards against Western Kentucky. They scored one offensive touchdown. They scored 13 points against a team in the bottom half of Conference USA defensively. Conference USA, can the nation have its name back, please? What are you talking about?
That's a fair point.
I could try to sit here and sell you a bill of goods about this offense, but it's 11 games in. They are what they are. They're not good. This is like LSU's not going to go to Norman Saturday and put up 400 yards. And this ain't going to be Ole Miss, which I'll dealt with. There's no chance of that. LSU's chance is what we're about to talk about, which is the defense.
Exactly. Speaking of offenses, 11 games in, we've got an idea of Oklahoma's, as you talked about with LSU. Let's talk about that on the other side of the crossover edition. Locked on LSU, Locked on Sooners. The NBA is back, and there's no better place to get into action than FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. Even if you've missed the start of the game or you want to ride the hot hand, FanDuel has live bets and everything from who will score next or fourth quarter comebacks. Plus, you can even combine your live bets into single game parlays for a shot at a bigger payout. It keeps every single game exciting, especially when your team's making that late push. So right now, FanDuel is giving new customers $300 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet wins. So head to FanDuel.com to sign up and play your game with FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. And welcome back to this Locked On crossover edition, Locked On LSU, Locked On Sooners. And thank you for making us your first listen every single day and making us the #1 sports podcast network in the world. So Matt Moscona over there at Locked On LSU, Jay Smith, Locked On Sooners. Let's talk on the opposite side. As you mentioned on the other side of this, Matt, this is LSU's chance of competing. Oklahoma's offense has been quite inept since John Mateer came back from injury. He's had his moments. I mean, you had the South Carolina game. You had the some parts of the Tennessee game. You had, a diet version of the Alabama. But for the most part, it has not looked like it did against Michigan or Auburn. But the defensive side of the ball for LSU, you had a video the other day of Whit Weeks, who it sounds like he broke his ankle. Is he back? Or right now, He's listed as questionable on the availability report.
So he'll play. Whit, you got to understand, for those that don't know who he is, he was a preseason All-American. He was second in the SEC in tackles a year ago, and he's a legit player. And the thought was he'd have a great year and he'd go pro after this season. Against Ole Miss, at the very end of the game, he was making a tackle. Someone rolled, like as he was going to the ground, someone rolled on his foot. He was injured. They had a bye after that, so he just relaxed for the open date and then came back against South Carolina. He said after that game, he couldn't even stand up in the shower. They did the MRI, realized he had a fracture in his ankle. So he has been out he's been out for about 6 weeks now. He missed the Vanderbilt game. He missed the A&M game, open date, Bama, Arkansas, and then came back last week and played 14 snaps for what was a cool moment. So Whit's older brother, West, and younger brother, Zach, are both on the team. So they all got on the field at the same time. It's the first time in the history of the program that 3 brothers played at the same time. So it was something that was very intentional that they were going to do at some point this year in a season that has otherwise really sucked. That was a cool moment. But Whit is likely going to get out there. He said on Tuesday when he met with reporters, goal is to play about 30 snaps. So with the way we think this game will go, that might be like about half of your defensive snaps. So look, man, he's an energy guy. He's an emotional leader. He's a really high IQ player. He'll make the calls when he's on the field, and he's a sideline to sideline defender. LSU's better with Whit Weeks on the field. It's just he might be their best defensive player. So they're better with him on the field, but he's not going to play every defensive snap. I don't know that physically he's capable of doing that at this point.
No, that makes sense. And because when I think of him, I also look at the other player on that defense that I think is probably one of the best, could be one of the best in the country, but he's, to me, used in a very weird way. Harold Perkins. He's kind of a nickel-ish setup right now.
They've moved. He exploded so much early in his career as a freshman. They've just moved him around so much. He wanted to play off the ball to prove to NFL scouts he could be an inside linebacker, but Jay, he's not that. He'll never be that. He's playing in his sort of natural habitat out in space where he can defend sideline to sideline, but he is a liability in coverage. So really smart offensive minds have schemed advantages where they've gotten Harold Perkins in coverage. But when he's near the line and can rush the passer and make tackles in space, he's really good. So
yes,
But the guy that is the one worth watching is actually Mansour Delane. They announced this week the Thorpe finalist. He's one of 3. It's interesting. I think most people probably don't know his name. But so he's a corner. He's transferred from Virginia Tech, his first year at LSU. And he has been awesome, man. I think he's allowed 13 receptions the entire season. And a lot of games when he's on the field, teams just are like, just throw it the other way. He just, I mean, y'all have had guys like that at OU. He takes away an entire side of the field when he's on the field. So if he plays, and he would guard probably Satania, and that would be a fascinating matchup. I say if he plays because he didn't play against Western Kentucky. He's got a core injury that his dad told me. I saw his dad on Monday. He told me he's been dealing with since fall camp. So they've just been managing it medically the whole season. He's played this year with a freaking core injury. He's a Thorpe finalist. It's insane. So you look at mock drafts, he's the guy that's in everybody's first round now. He's been awesome, but he's a guy that tilts the field because you're just going to say, all right, don't throw it him, throw the other way. So that's the one. He wears forward. He's the one worth knowing if he's out there defensively on Saturday.
Yeah, he's the guy
what's going on with this offense, Jay? Like, I watched OU's offense. Like, look, man. So when we were at media days, I'll tell you, I liked OU, but I said that I think that might be like a 7-5 team because the schedule. Like, I don't know about all the talk was they're hyping a quarterback coming in from Washington State, a running back from Cal, a receiver from Pine Bluff maybe or something. And I'm like, is that really what's going to get you over the hump in the SEC? In the first month, Mateer was awesome. And I did a video where I was like, dude, that was my biggest miss. My hit was A&M. I said I thought A&M was going to be really good this year. They have been. My miss, I was like, was OU. Like, Mateer's really good, and they're on the rise. So what's happened with this offense it can't just be Mateer's hand, right?
No, to me, I don't think it's his hand. I think it's his head now. And I say that because twofold. One, the one problem Mateer has had even at Washington State is that he has a tendency of missing things with his eyes. Like he misses wide open dudes. He just he overthinks the play and he won't go after it. After he hurt his hand, he thinks even more. And there's dudes sitting wide open, they're schemed open, they're ready for him, and he won't let it go. But when he does decide to let it go, you'll get an 87-yarder by Isaiah Satania. You'll get a 70-something yarder from Isaiah Satania. You'll get these big plays, and you're like, okay, that's awesome. Or you'll have him run it 50 yards down the field. But Brent Venables mentioned this weeks ago, and all the Sooner listeners know this. Brent Venables mentioned this, I think it was before the Tennessee game, and he said that Mateer had been dealing with a knee deal for a bit. And I think someone kind of accidentally leaked it out after the Michigan game. He hurt his knee in that game. Because Auburn, he didn't look as confident with his throws, but he was playing good ball. Like, he was out there balling, but he also broke his thumb. And so he broke his thumb in the first quarter, finished the whole game, had the game-winning drive, won that one, but then had surgery. And I think that knee was a lot worse than we anticipated. And it doesn't look like he's confident in standing and throwing it. It doesn't feel like he has confidence in any of that. And if you watch him run, if you notice, he only runs north and south. Anytime he has to cut, he seems to always get stopped. It's really odd. So to me, I think that that's where the problem is. I think that he's thinking about his hand, he's thinking about his knee, and everything in between these eyes aren't working out. Plus,
it's going to be. Oh, sorry.
No. Plus, the run game has been up and down. Now both of our running backs are banged up. Hopefully they're ready for this game. So we'll kind of see what that looks like.
What's interesting is when you look at LSU and OU, if I removed the team names and I just said, inconsistent quarterback play, offensive line has not been really good. It's been a real struggle to run the football. You got athletes on the outside, but it's been a challenge to find them. It's a lot of horizontal passing because you can't really stretch the field. But man, the defense has been awesome. You got some real dudes up front that can rush the passer, some dudes that are elite in coverage as well. And really they're winning games because of this amazing defense and a really good defensive mind who's creative. It sounds like I'm describing OU. That's how I would describe LSU.
As well.
So
yes.
But so you look at what's the difference between a team that's 9-2 and about to make the playoff and a team that's 7-4 and has fired its coach. And it's hard to say schedule. I think you got John Mateer, who, while it's not been great, I really think, Jay, like, and this is nondescript, and I don't know that I have evidence to back it up. I just feel like if it's 4th and 2, and you say, John, I need you to go get us 2 yards, he's going to get you 2 yards.
Yep.
That's just what had the difference. And I just feel like these are two teams that are so similar, but the difference has been, even though statistically it hasn't always been great for OU, and that might be the limiting factor that prevents OU from advancing in the playoff, I think Mateer has been a guy that's a leader on offense and has been good enough to make plays when you've had to play him. Again, I know that's nondescript, but that's just my take.
No, I think you're spot on, because if there's the thing that I would say about John Mateer before we go over into the final segment talk, final predictions, is when he needs to lock in, he locks in. That is exactly it. So as you said, if it's 4th and 2 and you have to have that 4th and 2, he's been finding ways to get that. Not every time, but he does find it most of the time. 3rd and 13. Hell, he pulled that off against Alabama in that play. Yeah. And a lot of people are like, where the hell did that come from?
Yeah.
Like, we've been waiting for you to throw the ball like that all game. He'll figure it out. 3rd and something against Michigan when they almost sacked him. He got away, ran across, and threw it to Satania down the field. You're like, oh, wow. Like, so he has that big play capability.
Yeah.
The biggest problem has been 100%. He's not locked in at all times. So from there, let's see if he can lock it in this game, because we need to get our final predictions in. So let's do that here on the crossover edition, Locked on LSU, Locked on Sooners. And before we do that, we got to talk about our friends over there at Omaha Steaks. The holidays always feel a little easier when you always know the perfect gift. And Omaha Steaks makes it almost too simple. Whether you're treating yourself this season, sending someone memorable to family and friends, Omaha Steaks delivers handcrafted perfection right to your door. And this week, the best time to jump in, because the cyber sale is here and deals are huge. The quality is exactly what you hope for. Incredibly tender steaks, rich flavor, and meals that make hosting or weekend night cooking very, very easy. And honestly, it's kind of a gift that brings people together. Everyone loves food. I sure do. And you don't need to guess anyone's sizes. So save big on unforgettable gifts with Omaha Steaks. Visit omahasteaks.com for 50% off site-wide and an extra 20% off select flavors during this cyber sale. And an additional $35 using our promo code COLLEGE at checkout. That's omahasteaks.com, promo code COLLEGE. Terms and conditions apply. See site for details. And once again, thank you for joining us for the Locked On crossover edition of Locked On LSU and Locked On Sooners. And thank you for making us your first listen every single day. So, Matt, I guess we got to kind of do this, man. I'm sorry. I know it's just for you. It's just bro, like whatever.
When you're 7-4 on a season, hey man, think about this, Jay. This season began with LSU in the top 10 in the preseason, and they beat Clemson in a top 10 matchup week 1. LSU got up to number 3 in the country. Like, a month into the season, Kirk Herbstreit said that LSU would be his number 1 team in America.
Yeah.
Bro, it's been a hell of a month. I mean, when you talk about from where they were to where they are, like, everyone is ready for this season to be over. And the biggest news of Saturday is not going to be, for LSU, is not going to be the outcome of this game. It's going to be if Lane Kiffin ultimately picks LSU, which at this moment seems like is going to be the case, provided they can get through the Egg Bowl. There's no weird mea culpa from Kiffin that has him go back hat in hand to Ole Miss, which I don't think is going to happen. And Saturday, it is possible, Jay, that Saturday before LSU and Oklahoma kick off at 2:30 Central, it is possible that Lane Kiffin is announced as LSU's head coach before the game.
That would be crazy. Yeah, because Egg Bowl's Friday night. So that
Egg Bowl's Friday night.
That does make sense.
I mean, the statement that the Ole Miss athletic director Keith Carter released last Friday said he'll coach the Egg Bowl, and then Coach Kiffin on Saturday will have a statement about his future. So we're all expecting Saturday. Come on. Baton Rouge. Here we go. Lane train pulling into BR. So you want to talk about a distracted fan base? Man, if ever, like, Jay, y'all going to walk into the playoff. I'll give listen, let me give Frank Wilson, LSU's interim head coach, a ton of credit. I've known Frank a long time. and he is awesome. And he has done an incredible job of getting buy-in. They have not had a single opt-out in the last month.
Nope.
And these dudes play hard. Like they have, some teams quit when they go through this. LSU ain't quit. They play hard. They're just not good offensively. That's the truth. And the defense has to carry everything. Listen, neither offense is playing great. Both defenses are awesome. It's supposed to be rainy and nasty. I have to do a pick for our station and our website and stuff. I think I picked it like 13-6. I mean, I kind of want to pick it like 20-6 because I think OU is going to cover. But I was sort of joking with 13-6, but not on LSU standpoint. Like I don't, they're not going to score. So I love the under in this game. And I know it's only like 35 or 35.5. I'd still bet the under because I really don't know, Jay. I really like LSU is not going to put together a 12-play, 74-yard scoring drive. And they're terrible in the red zone. So their opportunity to score is going to be strip sack, fumble, short field, scoop and score, pick six, like special teams. And OU's great on special teams. It's just it's just not a good match. Jay, they scored 13 points against Western Kentucky.
That is so
and Western
bad.
Kentucky's a bad Conference USA school. 13 on their home field against Western Kentucky, man. And it wasn't a fluke. Like, it wasn't a fluke. They have not scored 26 against an FBS opponent all year. They ain't going to Norman and scoring 20? What are we talking about? They ain't nothing to talk about. Like,
it's a fair
and
point.
you know what? And you know what, Jay? After Justin Jefferson did this to y'all, 2, 3, 4. How many did he have? 7? How many Justin Jefferson have in the first half? Like 15 against y'all in the first half?
It felt like it, yeah.
It probably was. He was awesome. Y'all get it.
He was amazing.
I mean, like, y'all deserve it. Y'all can have one. Y'all going to get this one, man.
We've been wanting one back. We've been wanting one back, especially after that, because Oklahoma hasn't beat LSU, at least in my lifetime. 03 Natty. That was, watching that one. That was a great game. That was a great job by Saban in taking advantage of that offensive line and using his size and strength and speed. So much. Yeah, I know you probably got something around there for that.
I was trying to shoot. So that was my senior year at LSU.
Oh, bro. See, look at that. God, I know that was an amazing feeling. God,
I can't even. But y'all did it a few years before with Stoops in 2000, the 13-2 game against Florida State.
Exactly.
And I mean, LSU had gone 45 years without a natty, bro. 45 years. So many people like me thought it was an untouchable goal. And so that day in the Superdome, January 4th, 2004, still to this day, one of the greatest days of my life. I mean, smoked a cigar on the concourse of the Superdome, walking out, watched the game with my dad and my brother, tears in my eyes. And, bro, that was a great OU team. I know everybody clowns them because they lost in the K-State game, 35-7?
It's like 35-7. Yeah, they beat the crap out of them.
I mean,
for some weird reason. It was crazy.
Like, I remember that team scoring 70 on A&M when they were still the wrecking crew. Like, that team was awesome. LSU's defense that year was just great. Anyway, revisionist history. But yes, y'all deserve one. Y'all go get one. And I'm actually sad. Like, I'm going to be very honest with you, for the OU fans, I wish this was a thing that was going to be like our new Thanksgiving thing, because LSU doesn't have a rival. Yep. Like, I know y'all got Texas. Y'all don't have Bedlam anymore. But, like, LSU doesn't have it's
the
really just
boot-ish, the golden boot.
That's a clown show. Nobody here cares about the boot. And every rival is just generational. So, like, for me, I love LSU Auburn because when I was coming into my own as a fan, the LSU Auburn thing was incredible. Like, Jacob Hester and Matt Flynn, who were part of the 07 championship team, they will tell you LSU Florida because they had some incredible matchups with Tebow and all those guys. Now the era has been Bama, when LSU Bama's been this big thing. It just, I respect so much OU's tradition. It would be so cool if this was a thing that could organically develop into. LSU and A&M was becoming that, but I get it. A&M and Texas are going to play, and they should. They should, yes. Absolutely. So anyway, I was wishing this would be a thing that would happen on Thanksgiving, but it looks like it's not gonna.
I said the same thing too. This was the team that I wanted to be on Thanksgiving just because of that. Exactly that. I felt like it was going to be an organic build of us, because 2 years in a row we've been set for this week. It's like, okay, because for us coming in the season, our thought was if Oklahoma was to compete for a playoff, it would be all the way to the last game against LSU, in which LSU is most likely going to be in the playoffs. And so they're going to be playing for a conference championship spot. And so we'll be playing for a playoff spot. We were thinking maybe, if we end up 9-3, we'd be one of the few teams that will be considered because of the gauntlet we had to play. So, but now the gauntlet did not turn out as much of a gauntlet as we thought, even though those 2 road wins are massive for us, especially being ranked games on the road. This game still is a playoff implications game, but it's not where we thought it was going to be. So similar to you, my prediction was going to be about 20-6. I think Oklahoma's going to be able to score, not a lot. It's just going to be a slow get in there, win the game, and get the hell out of there. Don't turn the ball over. Don't be stupid with it. Just be patient. Go out there. If you're be patient, you should be able to win this. And I think our defense should be able to score at least 1 touchdown in this game, just because of how ferocious they are. They're going to go for a strip sack. That's what they're going to go for at minimum. Now, don't tell me, Matt, you think we're going to score more than 1 defensive touchdown. Do not do me this way. This is not what we were expecting.
Bro, you're predicting a defensive touchdown.
This is what they do. We go out there and we strip. That's what we like to do. Sorry, that's just what we do with the chicken strips. What we do around here. We go around there, we go after a strip sack, and if we get Mike Van Buren running, I expect at least 1 strip sack, and I'm hoping it turns into a touchdown. I'm not saying, I think we can. Let's just see if we can make it. You just predicted it. It's a fair point. I did predict it. I'm going to keep predicting it, dang it. I'm going to lean in. I think they'll do it.
Predicting a defensive touchdown.
All right, let's see if I'm good.
I'm predicting Haley's Comet's going to crash into my house tomorrow.
That's a hard one. That's a hard one, Matt. But I mean, you're already predicting your coach on Saturday morning, so
Well, sometimes it's not a prediction. Like sometimes
fair. So no, it's gonna be a good game. It's gonna be a fun game for us because we need it desperately. For you all, it'll be leading into a new era of LSU civilization, which we'll be excited to hear about that as well, because hopefully at some point we'll match up against each other again. So check out Matt Moscona over there at Locked on LSU. What was the radio station you're on as well?
104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. We're syndicated all over Louisiana, though. So, bro, you spell my name, you can find me.
Yep. Search his name. You will find him. You can find me over on Locked on Sooners. Thank you all for tuning in. Thank you all for joining the show. All the everydayers, shout out to you all. And thank you for making us the #1 sports podcast network. And for Matt, for Jay, as well as my guy, John, we will catch you guys after the game. And say it out. Boomer Sooner.
Go Tigers.